as we will have the 5 red lights on here in Spain. On the right, as Stephen Beecham leads the field away down into turn 1. It's a brilliant start for Stephen Beecham from pole, as Ty Clear now on the outside of line. D. Somers unfortunately is a lag down to Scones up into P2. Scones with a brilliant start, and Lime gets through here. And Scones with a masterful start into P3. You love to see it. As Zampa, what has happened? Zampa as Lime's around. Lime with a spin. Lime down into P9 as Zampa. What's happened, Zampa? Did he even leave the... Oh, and Lime over to the wall! Lime into the wall. What has happened, Lime? Lime down to P15 as Zampa. Some sort of... Zampa's had big issues as well here. Already 2 seconds in the lead now as Ty Clear washes onto the curb. Allows TJ in the Mercedes reserving today down the inside. TJ potentially on for a podium, as well as Crimson making his debut today. And Ty Clear goes side by side with the McLaren. Utter carnage up the start here as Lime around again here on the first lap here. Lime, who won last time out, he absolutely crunched the front wing as Infrajack now on the outside of Daddy Chill side by side. They go on a big contact between the Sauber and the Red Bull. And the Sauber, unfortunately, went too deep. Ty Clear and TJ battle into turn 1. And I was too busy chatting about nations and we missed Ty Clear make another beautiful move as Daddy Chill gets ahead of Creek. Can Scones find a way around the outside of Stephen Beecham as he breaks earlier? Ty Clear has to have a look on the inside as Scones trying to find a way through, and Stephen but can't find a way through as we've Dobo trying to get close as well, but we're so close up at the top, and Ty gets through and Scones on the inside. I am missing so many overtakes in this one, it's not even funny, as Scones now back on the rear of Ty Clear. We're going to have to try and get it back in again as TJ on the rear of Stephen Beecham, who seems to be struggling on these soft tyres now. And TJ now round the outside of the soft runner as Scones still keeping in DRS ranges. We've got TJ around. TJ around to turn 3. And as we just mentioned, the possibility of a podium for TJ. He's lost the car and now may have dropped back to the likes of Dobo and the Lanky as well. But after the pit stop phase, where will it all shape out? Is Stephen now going to look to get ahead of Creek down the main straight? We've also got Crimson joining this battle as well. Meanwhile, Dobo on the rear of Factory is we've got a yellow flag around, and it's Scones around, entering the pit lane. And Scones tried to enter the pit lane and hit the pit wall, I believe. Oh, absolute heartbreak for Scones. And TJ on the inside, down into turn 4, and Mercedes goes on the Algerian driver. And a lovely move from TJ as Factory trying to find a way past. Again, goes deep though into the rear of the Mercedes. A little bit of contact, which may invite the lanky one now onto the rear of the Alpine. Daddy Chill unfortunately does not have DRS to defend from this move, and Stephen Beecham going to get straight ahead down into P2 as Ty Clear is exiting the box. He's got a lovely pocket of clear air, has Ty Clear. Finishing position here as well as Stephen Beecham going to blow right past the McLaren of Dub Z as Crimson, the other McLaren, gets right past Daddy Chill. Dub has always been a very respectable driver. We'll see whether he does give his teammate the same benefit. Last season, Dub Z and Codzilla were Tier 2 Constructor Champions as Crimson does get ahead of his teammate. Dub Z does let him through on the Red Bull drivers. The Mercedes now down into turn 1. Can he get ahead? And TJ down into P3. I also wonder, is TJ trying to go to the end as well here? Just 3 laps older tyres than Ty Clear as Dobo gets ahead of Infrajack. Still a battle side by side. Do the Red Bulls as Infrajack on the inside of Dobo. But Dobo gets round the outside and try and get a good result here as Daddy Chill now on the rear of Scones. Down into turn 4 has a look on the inside of the Aston Martin. Side by side they go. And Scones on the inside of the Sauber, side by side. Bit of wheel banging between the Aston and the Sauber. And Scones loses a position now. They start to fall off as there's been a yellow flag. And that's for TJ. TJ's lost out and has spun, which is invited through Stephen Beecham. And Crimson now. Crimson up into the podium as TJ making another mistake. Does he have a puncture? No, just seemed to let through WHF now. Meanwhile, Lanky on the inside of Infrajack. Side by side they go down into turn 1. A bit of a wheel bang through turn 1 as Lanky washes out wide. Battling with Infrajack. And Infrajack ferociously defending here as Dobo now in the rear of Lanky. Can the Red Bull of Dobo find a way through on the Mercedes? As he taking care of the old hards as Daddy Chill now on the inside of WHF. Side by side they go almost 3 wide down into turn 1. And Daddy Chill loses out to WHF as TJ somehow holds on to P4. WHF almost got round the outside of TJ there as the Cyber going to try to get back through again, but Scones now on the inside of the Cyber but unable to get back through again. Meanwhile, D Summers on the inside of Dobo. Side by side they head through turn 3 and down into turn 4. Will we see D Summers on the inside of the Red Bull? Side by side they go. Little bit of a wheel bang, but the Williams of D Summers gets on through now. TJ almost had P2 in the bag as Scones gets ahead of Daddy Chill. Side by side they go, and WHF looking on the inside of the Mercedes, but Scones now in the Aston Martin on the inside. Side by side they go, the Cyber and the Aston Martin. Can Scones get round? And a lovely move from the Aston Martin from Scones. Had to give it his all, and WHF's around. No, Dub around here on the third final lap, and Dub in the McLaren, who was battling for P4, which would have been one of his best results in WHF. 10 seconds in the lead as Ty ahead of his teammate of Stephen Beecham. We could be on for a Ferrari 1-2 by the end of this lap as Scones still trying to head after the Mercedes, and the Mercedes is around, and Scones is around. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Scones is around after TJ didn't ghost. Scones did all he could to try to avoid the Mercedes, but the Mercedes would not ghost on the final lap here. I don't believe it. Oh, absolute heartbreak for Scones, and Scones into the pit lane to Ty Clear, who has been one of the most unlucky drivers in WHF in the past. And Ty Clear, who's yet to have a podium here in all of WHF, will round the final corner, and Ty, for the first time in WHF, will win in Spain. Absolutely unbelievable scenes for Ty. Picks up his first win for Ferrari. Next it's followed by Stephen Beecham with back-to-back P2s for the first Ferrari 1-2 here. Next it's Crimson with a debut podium in the McLaren. What a race there for Crimson. Next it's the reserve of Daddy Chill, aka Gunner, who will pick up his best P4. Oh, we may drop back to TJ, who's spun in the final lap and unfortunately collected Scones. TJ does pick up P4. WHF up to P5 following his spin. Lanky up to P7 ahead of D Summers. Next it's Dobo, then Infrajack. Lime will finish P12, but may jump Factory as Infrajack crosses the line in P10 as Factory up to P11, but Lime up to P10. A decent recovery drive there for Lime, despite all he had to deal with as Sci-Fi Meghype and Creek cross the line side by side and wheel banging hits the V-carbs. But unfortunately for Scones, had P4 potentially on the cards, and it'll be P16 for Scones. Could have potentially won the race at a point, and instead he'll only pick up a point. Absolute heartbreak for Scones here in Tier 2. And there you have it. After several seasons in WHF, not only does Ty Clear get his first podium in WHF, he also gets his first win here in round 2 of the Season 5 calendar. Joined by Stephen Beecham getting his second consecutive P2 this season. Next it's Crimson in the McLaren getting a debut podium ahead of the reserve of TJ picking up a P4, along with WHF, who'd be your driver of the day, gaining 8 positions in the race all the way up to P5. But we'll have a look at the standings, and with Stephen Beecham picking up pole, the fastest lap, and his second consecutive P2 this season, he will take the championship lead ahead of Lime and his teammate Ty Clear, who crashed out in round 1, but in round 2 wins the race that jumps him up massively in the championship, with Ferrari taking a strong lead in the Constructors' Championship here. Can Ferrari continue the good form as they head to Belgium next week for round 2 in the WHF calendar? We will see you then. Thank you all for watching. I've been WHF Arrow, and goodbye.